Hi, this is Derek and I'd like to welcome you here today on behalf of Priority Management's Brisbane and Melbourne offices. Welcome to our Microsoft Project Tips and Tricks series. Okay, so what's happened is been approached by a client who's asked how to compare two different versions of a Microsoft project sheet. And so you might have created a sheet yourself and sent it out to a consultant by email. The consultant's made additions or alterations to the sheet and then sent it back to you by email, and you want to compare the original with the new version. Before I actually go in and get the document compare toolbar operating, I'm going to show you that you may want to just have a look at the settings on your computer, and particularly if you do try and use the document compare function and have any difficulties, you may have to change some of the background settings first. So I'm just going up to tools on the menu bar here, and down to the bottom of that you'll see that there's an options selection which you may be familiar with. In the options, just see that at the top there is actually a tab called security, and on that security tab I've got my machine permanently set on allow loading files with legacy or non-default file formats. You'll probably find that on your machine that Microsoft's default setting is actually the top one, where it won't enable you to open those. So just in case you're dealing with different versions of sheets from previous versions of Microsoft Project, etc., you may want to select that and leave it on that and just do an OK. Right, now once we've got that going there, what we need to do is get the document compare toolbar operating. We're just going up here to the area next to the menu up here and do a right click, and on that right click there's actually, I'll just do that, I'll go pull that into view over here so you can see that. Right click and you'll see that here is the menu for toolbars. I'm going to choose the toolbar which is compare project versions. That'll bring new toolbar into play, and I've got it just sitting up here. As you can see, here it is here, where compare project versions. The go to a task, show all differences. There's actually a menu here that we can that I'll show you, demonstrate at the end when we've got some data to look at, and also show data in different columns. There's some selections there as well that you can do. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, I only have a blank sheet open at the moment, so what we're going to do is go here and press the compare project versions document, and that will give you a screen here where you can see where you've got choices now of version 1 and version 2. I'm just going to go browse and go and find my version that I'm playing with. I've got a folder in here. I'm just going to choose one of the files that we use for the first day of Microsoft Project Fundamentals training, and I've got a file here, number 5, which has no resources, a resource pool built, but doesn't have any resources allocated. And then I've got another one there. I'm just going to go in for this. It says the later version, version 2. I've got another file in the same place, which is file number 6 here, which actually has those files allocated. So there's going to be some obvious differences between the two, and I'll just double click on that one and say OK. I might just pull that up so I can get the open. Here we go. Okay, so now I have sheet 5 and sheet 6 that are in those two in there. When you do your comparisons, you have a choice here on the menus as to what it is you want to compare. So I'm actually just going to leave it in the entry view, which will obviously give me the resource name columns that I want to look at. But you can change these to obviously different areas here if you wanted to compare costs. So that would be Gantt cost view if you wanted to use that. We're sticking with the Gantt entry view on there. You also have, you can compare resource tables, and you have the opportunity here to do those as well. But we'll leave that for another day. I believe in one step at a time, so I'm just going to keep this example simple. And we're just going to compare the entry views on the two different sheets that are open. So I'll just press OK on that, and you'll see what will happen is, just like in the video here, things will go crazy, because what's happening is you'll get lots of flashing around as the Microsoft Project compares those two open project sheets. And you'll see here, just have a read through the window here that tells you that it's done. You may want to check that box and say, OK, I don't want to see that again. It's entirely up to you. It depends how often you use it. If I look at this, do you want to see the legend? And I'm just going to say yes on that. Just pull this into view, because basically if comparing documents is a brand new activity you've never seen before, you may need to just be familiar with some of the different colours, colorations and the legend that's going to be presented to you. That's not a bad place for new users to have a little bit of a look. I'll just close that up, and what we'll do is I've got the compared document here. I'm just going to move that tasks help out of the way so that we can see more of the screen. If I pull my Gantt chart right across now, and I'll just do a little zoom in, zooming in, so that you can see, just like when you save a baseline in Project, where you get a representation underneath your task, we have the same thing happening here. So if I go over the top bar there, which is the task 1, tells you that it's task 1 version 1 and gives you the details in there, and if I hover over the bottom one there, it'll tell you it's task version 2. And as we can see though, because they're lined up, there's been no change in that. So you can actually go through and have a, if you want to look from a visual point of view, you can go and have a look and see if there are any obvious differences that are happening within your project. Things like milestone date changes and things like that. Okay, just pull that over. I'm going to get rid of the Gantt chart out the way because it's not only a pictorial version of what's going on here, but you'll also see that what's going on is that we can actually see 2 columns have been created on the screen when we've done the document compare. And what happens is we have duration version 1 that we're looking at here, duration version 2 that we're looking at here, and as we can see, for instance, these are actually equal at the moment. So the duration difference column that's been created is sitting here showing there's been actually no changes to the duration in those tasks that are in view. I should point out to you that what basically has happened is Microsoft actually creates a new version or a new sheet. So if I go into Window here, you can see that I've got version 5, version 6, just to confuse things, I already had Project 1 open, but Project 2 is the new version that's been created, and it's the version at the moment. It's not saved or anything, but it's the version that's doing the comparisons. And that Project 2, as you can see up here, is the document I'm looking at, or the sheet I'm looking at the moment. As you scroll through here, if I just scroll through to the right, you'll see that in each occasion what it's done is put in, for instance, start 1 version 1 and start version 2, start difference, which is nothing because all we've done is done the consultant, we're assuming, has just made changes to the allocations of resources. No changes in the predecessors. You can see predecessors version 1, predecessors there, and it says equal because there's been no changes to those. That would say different if there was a change on any individual one of those. And coming right through to the end, where what I'm using for the exercise here is the resources, and so you can see here that we have resource names in version 1 document and resource names in version 2, and there is a difference here on some of the items. Now, why there's a difference in some items and it says equal on others is very simple. These are tasks, so there's a difference. There was no allocation in version 1. In version 2 now we actually have an allocation of those tasks, of resources onto those tasks, and therefore the term different comes up in the box there. These here where it says equal and equal, the reasons they are saying that is because this particular task here is actually a milestone, so there's no allocation of resources to that milestone, and this line here is a summary task, so there's no allocation of resources to that either. What has changed though, if I just going to scroll up and down, is you'll see there's been some allocations to these individual tasks here, and once again these are summaries and these are milestones, and summaries, milestone and summary, and so that they're showing no difference between them. Now if you have a very large project and you'd like to isolate just the changes rather than looking at all, we've got show all here at the moment. You could say, okay, look, just show me the changed items, and therefore that will just show you the changed items, and I've now got a list here with the ID numbers and the names of the tasks that have been changed, and as you can see there's not that many of them. I can just barely fit them in the window, but there's not actually that many of them compared with showing all differences and all of the items. Okay, now you can obviously do some changes in here as well as to data only columns, etc., and what data difference columns only. What is it that you actually want to view is what it's all about. and we'll just go back to show all items. Guys, it's as simple as that. If you want to go any further, and I suggest you do, what I really suggest to you is that you go to help and go in there, and all you need to do in the help function is basically to type in help type in compare in the window here, and just go and search on this, and you'll find that there is a lot more in the help functions, and there's only just a few you can see on the screen. And so go in there and seek further, because there are quite a few more functions that can be utilised with this comparison. I trust this will be useful information and save you lots of time. Best wishes.